It has, and away we go. It has been quite a while since Risk has made an appearance in one of our two podcasts.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So, how you doing?
Fabulous.
Yeah, same here. But let's get into the news. What's in it?
Well, there is one thing that a lot of people are talking about.
The new pope?
That's the one.
Yes, the new pope. I don't even completely know his name. I don't even completely know his name. I keep seeing it, but it's like I keep forgetting his name. What's his name again?
So, his Pope name is Pope Leo the 14th. His government name is Robert Francis Prevost.
Is he related to Pope Francis? Like I'm so confused.
Uh, no,
Okay.
not biologically, for sure. It's not like that.
Okay, so they just happen to have like the Francis in common. That's about it.
Yeah, just they just have name in common.
So he's the 14th. I wonder who the first is. Huh.
Yeah, it's a good question. Leo the First.
Leo the 14th.
Yes, the new Pope is Leo the 14th.
Gotcha. Okay. And yeah, I've been seeing an uproar about it. I've been seeing an uproar about it ever since I've gotten back, ever since I was kind of started scrolling through Twitter again, and yeah, there are people who are embracing it, but there are people who obviously don't like it because, well, it's like, you know, in reality, the Pope means. I'm not gonna say the Pope means nothing, but I'm saying to like most Christians, the Pope means the Pope means nothing. To like other Christians besides Catholics. That's pretty much what I've gathered from like scrolling on Twitter. And yeah, it's like for the most part, it's like there are mixed feelings about the Pope. People love it. There are people who love it. There are people who don't really care for it as much. I'm not gonna say hate it because I'm pretty sure they don't hate it. It's just that they just don't. They just don't see as like a new Pope affecting anything of theirs. But that was relatively quick though. Like they picked the Pope really quickly.
Yeah, it was like 2 days of voting.
Literally 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Leo the 14th, congratulations. And I'll be honest, I am wondering who are the other like
The other 30os.
yes, pretty much. Who are the other 13 Leos? I'm just because he's the 14th.
Yes, the 14th Leo of the papacy.
Huh. Okay. I think people were like saying how he was the first American Pope or something like that.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Won't affect me very much, but that's great to see. And yeah, for the most part, Leo, good luck. I heard some things. I think I saw a post on like this other social media platform that I have currently. It's called it's a it's like a Christian. So it's pretty much a Christian social media. I've been on it for a couple of days. It's actually pretty good. It actually replaces it kind of helps when you want to scroll, and it's like yeah, it's just oh yeah, someone posted breaking news: a new pope has been chosen, and yes, he's American. Pope Leo the 14th, Robert Francis Prevost from Chicago, is officially the first American to hold the highest seat in the Catholic Church. And this person also said he's known for his progressive theology and is known to be sympathetic to those openly opposing the gospel, and spiritually affirming LGBTQ people can do what they want, but a spiritual leader should not bend to cultural preferences. Well, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I agree with this. It's like people can do whatever they want; they have free will. But it's like I don't know. It's like if you're a spiritual leader of some sort, it's like you know, you should kind of like you shouldn't bend to like cultural like preferences. But yeah, that's pretty much what I kind of heard about the guy. But it's like I said, he's the Pope. You know, people, the Catholics are going to like handle it in the way they want to handle it. But it's like I just, that's what I've seen, and I kind of don't really, I care because he is a spiritual leader. But it's like I don't really care because I don't know. Spiritual leaders will be held accountable, if they're wrong. But that's just me. That's just me though, and probably other people as well, But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say congratulations to the new pope. I mean, if this stuff is true, I don't agree with it, but he was definitely he was voted in by the Catholics. Vote for the new pope, correct?
The Cardinals.
Gotcha. Yeah, at the end of the day, he was voted in, so you know, I can't do anything about that. Neither can any of the Catholics. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no. I'm pretty sure because of that, some of them are going towards like orthodoxy or something like that. That's also what I kind of heard. Some of them are going towards the orthodoxy church and all that. But hey, regardless, congratulations. Just teach right. Just I don't really know what a pope does. I know they're a spiritual leader, but like, what do they? I don't really know. I'm not really familiar with what they do. So I'm just gonna say this: teach the Catholic Church correctly. That's all I gotta say. If that's technically what they do as a spiritual leader. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. How about you?
Well, I don't pay attention much to the Catholic Church or the Pope in general, but of course, all I know about the Pope is he is a well-known figure across the world for many, many centuries, not just decades or years, but many centuries, and really sets the tone for most of the world on a spiritual level.
Yeah, that's true. The Pope has definitely been a spiritual figure for millennials, decades. Yeah. So it's like, it definitely sets the tone. I'll be honest. I do wonder how Pat. I could probably do. It's probably easy research, but I do wonder how past popes have been whether if they would. I feel like past popes would not. If what I've read was true, past popes would probably definitely not agree with him. But we're in the 21st century, and 2030 is not he. It's not almost here, but it's definitely approaching.
It's around the corner.
It's definitely around the corner, and 2030 is hopefully going to be a very exciting year.
Absolutely.
Imagine if there was just another pandemic in the beginning. God forbid.
Nah, there's no plan for another pandemic in the 2030s.
Dang, how old am I gonna be? 28? I know I'm gonna be close to 30. That's all I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
most likely.
it's 2025. I'm 22, 23, 24, 25. I'm gonna be 27. I'm gonna be 27 or 28. One of those two. Wow, I'm really gonna be almost there. I'm really gonna just be looking at myself and be like, wow. I remember when it feels like yesterday I was only 22.
Yeah, very true.
But hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. So, anything else in the news?
A British Airways plane aborted takeoff due to a co-pilot confusing left and right, as founded by investigators. The incident, which occurred on June 28th last year, shut down Gatwick Airport for 50 minutes, affecting traffic.
Oh, wow.
Firefighting crews responded to extinguish a fire on the right-hand landing gear during the incident. The co-pilot expressed surprise over the inadvertent thrust reduction and could not identify its cause.
Huh. Wow. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not going to say you should know better, but at least, know about what is to your left and what is to your right. That's all I'm going to say. Of course, we all make mistakes, but for a job such as being a pilot or being a medic, a doctor, at least jobs that not just pays well, but also jobs that requires hyper focused attention and physical stability. There are cases, there are scenarios where you can't afford to make such slip ups, and it could affect most people's lives if that were to happen. So I know people make mistakes, but if you're in a job that has such high stakes, then you got to prepare yourself for what you're in for before you actually go into it.
Yep, that's true. I definitely do agree. The least you can do is debate your basic lefts and rights, and yeah, that's really all you can. That's the least you can know, and you just gotta just be prepared and just be careful. the next time certain things come across and come to pass.
Very true.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Russia hosts 80th Victory Day parade with record foreign leaders and Xi Jinping, the 80th anniversary of Nazi Germany's defeat in World War II. The parade reflected Russia's effort to project strength and counter Western isolation amid the ongoing war in Ukraine, with notable international attendance. The procession involved more than 11,500 military personnel and upwards of 180 pieces of equipment, such as tanks, armored infantry, fighting vehicles, and artillery deployed in Ukraine, along with nuclear-capable Yars missile launchers and drones mounted on trucks. President Vladimir Putin praised troops fighting in Ukraine as courageous and highlighted allies like North Korea and Slovakia, while a separate tribunal was endorsed in Lviv to prosecute Russian war crimes.
Very, very interesting. Definitely, I will say that. Well, for one, a victory parade. A victory parade. It must have been some victory parade, huh?
It sure has been.
Yeah, I will say this. Congrats, I guess on the victory, and yeah, it's hopefully, yeah. Just that's all I gotta say. It's congrats. It's how about you?
Well, congrats on the parade, but I would like the war to end, please, because we had enough with the conflicts and all the unaliving. That would be nice to have all that ended as soon as possible. That's all I
Yeah,
ask for.
yeah, same. Yeah, same here. Yeah, honestly, same here. I really had nothing. I really had nothing else to say in regards to that. I mean, the war is still here. I mean, congrats on the victory parade, but it would be even better if they just ended it. It would really just be better if they ended the war entirely. I mean, yeah, once more, congrats, but just end the war. But yeah, it's this war has just been going on for too long. Yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Rare New Zealand snail caught reproducing from its neck in eggs, citing footage.
Huh, interesting. Is there more in this news?
On September 18, 2024, Department of Conservation staff filmed a rare Poeliphanta augusta snail laying an egg from its neck at a Hokitika facility in New Zealand. This event occurred amid ongoing conservation efforts to save the species after its habitat was destroyed by coal mining, which led to relocation and captive management starting in 2006. The snail species is slow growing, takes 8 years to mature, lays about 5 eggs yearly, and the egg can take over a year to hatch, with captive snails living up to 30 years. Lisa Flanagan, who has worked with these snails for 12 years, expressed surprise that despite the long period of care, this was the first occasion on which they observed one laying an egg. The footage provides new insights into the species' reproductive biology while conservationists continue managing nearly 1,900 snails and over 2,200 eggs in captivity to support survival.
I'll be honest. It has been a while since I've heard about snails. It's been a while since
Oh yeah,
I've seen a snail actually.
it
Huh.
just comes to show.
Yeah. Wow. And they live up to 7 years as well. But with some species they last 10 to 15 years. 15 years as well.
Yeah,
Wow, it has just been a long while since I've actually heard about snails specifically. In fact, I wonder, what is the purpose of snails anyways?
that's a very, very good question.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Grant, I mean, I have no problem with snails. I really don't. I've seen snails, I've touched snails, I have no problem with them. They're slimy, but yeah, I personally have no problem with them. But what is really the purpose of a snail? Actually, it's been a while since I've seen a slug. Well, snails, slugs, kind of the same thing, just one has a shell and one doesn't.
And also one is slightly longer than the other.
Yeah, that too. Those are the only few differences, like, within the two. But yeah, it has definitely been a long while since I've seen those two. I mean, I remember the last time I've seen them was when my mom used to work at a park, and I would just play in the park, and I would just see some snails. I'm pretty sure I even took one home, but it died because I didn't feed it. I didn't know I had to feed it.
Yeah,
But I was a kid though. I didn't know I had to feed it. I just took it home just because.
it happens.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, definitely, yeah. I will say this just for the sake of, like, just for the sake of them being able to have a longer lifespan. I would want them to survive. I see no reason to kill them off. I mean, they're not hurting anybody. They move pretty slow. Um, yeah, they're not hurting anybody or anything. So, I would say, like, just have them survive, have them last, and just ultimately just have them just. Although I don't see the purpose in them, I also don't see a reason to kill them or just, like, to let them die at least. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about snails. Is there anything else in the news?
AA and extreme weather database that tracks cost of disasters since 1980.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what about that?
On Thursday, NOAA announced its plans to discontinue updates to its prominent database tracking billion-dollar weather and climate disasters after 2024 and will also phase out several related services. This decision follows staffing reductions and budget cuts, with the 2026 proposal cutting NOAA's funding by 24% and planning to close labs and eliminate research divisions. The database has tracked $403 billion disasters in the United States since 1980, covering extreme events like hurricanes and hailstorms, with costs totaling nearly $3 trillion. Jeremy Porter of First Street emphasized the database's unique value due to its standardized methodology and proprietary data from reinsurance estimates and private claims. Retiring the database will make tracking the cost of extreme weather events nearly impossible, increasing uncertainty for researchers, regulators, and the public amid rising disaster frequency and severity.
Well, first off, that is very unfortunate that they're going to shut down. That's very unfortunate that they're going to shut down. But ultimately speaking, some things do have to come to an end eventually. But the real question is, why are they shutting down? That's my question. Why are they shutting down?
Well, there are many, many answers, but I think one answer that the conspiracy theorists would likely say is that to shut down a database that tracks extreme weather that will cost millions of dollars of property damage, I think they would say it's a way of allowing. I'm not saying they're going to allow more disasters to happen, but I think over the decades where this database has tracked extreme weathers, well, I know it costs a lot of money to actually have such a database in operation. So cost would be most likely the one thing people will point fingers to because, well, it's a multi-million billion dollar operation. But of course, having it being shut down and having this database and operation being absent, we're not going to know when an extreme weather or natural disaster is going to happen. And when it does happen, we won't know until it actually hits that location. And of course, if people do not track such incidences or cautions like that, then of course, like the report says, which has saved billions of dollars, there's going to be a higher cost for property damage caused by such natural disasters and extreme weather. And I feel like they want to see how will the community, or how would people in such communities affected by such weathers and natural disasters, how will they cope? How will they support each other when no one is here to help or there is nothing to support the mass amount of damages that has been caused?
That's true. And I don't know. considering the fact that a lot of people were freaking out when they thought a social media app was going to get banned, I would not be surprised if people freaked out extremely over this. Would freak out extremely and would not know how to handle it. So I'd say, like, I don't know, get a weather. I would say get a special radio that tells you the weather and all the natural disasters around you. Just always prepare for the worst so you have nothing to freak out about. That's all I have to say. Also, yeah, I mean, that is what most conspiracy theorists would say, and for the most part, it's valid. It's pretty valid. I mean, they just want control. They would want control. They would want us to freak out in situations where we don't even know what's coming before it even comes. And ultimately speaking, you can't freak out about something that you don't know. You just always have to be prepared for the worst that is to come, because
Exactly.
yeah, just like everything is not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, although that would be preferable. But unfortunately, this is real. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, this is real life. So you really just have to always prepare for the worst. So all I have to say is this: just don't freak out about it. I mean, yeah, you freaked out about an app going off the app store for a little bit, but don't freak out about this. Just prepare. That's all you can do. Just simply prepare properly. But yeah, just there are a bunch of weather apps. There are a bunch of supplies you can buy. Just do that. That's all you have to do. It's really that simple. Just like don't get too comfortable.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, just don't simply. It's as simple as that. Don't get too comfortable. But no one is going to listen to that. A lot of people will get too comfortable. And when disaster hits, they won't know what to do. And just like how people freaked out when they had no idea what to do because TikTok was their only source of income, which is stupid. You should be like, bringing your fan base to every social media platform. Even Snapchat. Even Snapchat would be fine. I don't even use Snapchat, but even that would have been smart. But, speaking of which, why do people use Snapchat in 2025? I mean, I get if you're
Well,
I mean,
I
I
was
get
gonna,
it.
I was
I'm
gonna
sorry.
say, it's alright. I was gonna say, the reason why people would use Snapchat is, well, they use it as a place to have group chats with people from high school, college, and to some extent, university. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I certainly do not care. Also, Snapchat has a tons of they have a wide range of filters. Even its early days of Snapchat, they had filters that really made Snapchat, well, the well-known icon that it was in the past. Well, I'm not sure about today, but a few years ago, Snapchat was a massive player in social media space, and even today, I think Snapchat are still looking at ways to stand out from other platforms. Like there's Snapchat Spotlight, which is like, it's a typical carousel scrolling, showing short videos, similar to TikTok or Reels and X videos. But anyway, you get the idea what TikTok and Reels is all about. A Snapchat Spotlight is similar concept, and that's doing pretty well with lots of Snapchat users, and include myself as I am scrolling on Snapchat Spotlights right now. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I also kind of use I also kind of use the group chat thing for Instagram as well. I mean, I'm in a group chat. We don't talk in it very much, but still people from high school.
yeah,
That's actually what I use Instagram for. Just to keep up with, old friends, old compadres, just people from school in general. Yeah, just from people from high school in general. Yeah, most men, some women. Although I don't talk to everybody, I only talk to the people who I've interacted with. It is what it is.
and it was what it was.
Exactly. Yeah, but you're right. Snapchat isn't as prominent as it was earlier on, but it's still used nonetheless. So we got that. We got that. I would say, like, if you're older, like these, I mean, like these 50s, I would assume you're using Snapchat to probably cheat. I don't know. That's how it's kind of how I see it. If you're like in your 20s, probably 30s, unless you're an influencer of some sort. Actually, no. If you're not an influencer in your 20s or 30s, fine. I would say like I don't know with Snapchat. It just seems like to me that there should be a time frame of some sort. A time frame of some sort. I don't know. It just feels like there should come a certain time when it's like Snapchat specifically. You should kind of just stop using. That's my personal opinion. Everyone else can like see it as it is, but it's like that's just my opinion. I don't know. It's like I just makes more. It just makes sense.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Amazon toots Vulcan, its first robot with a sense of, quote, touch.
Huh? Interesting. Is there more in the news?
Amazon announced Vulcan, a new robot with a sense of touch, on May 6, 2025, at facilities in Spokane, Washington, and Germany. Amazon developed Vulcan to improve warehouse efficiency and safety by addressing challenges robots face in handling crowded or high shelves. Vulcan uses AI-powered sensors to precisely control pressure and torque, allowing it to manipulate about 75% of items weighing up to 8 pounds at human-like speeds. Amazon stated Vulcan will, will work alongside humans without replacing them and create higher skilled jobs, maintaining and operating robots, as emphasized by director Aaron Partners.
I really have no opinion about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you have anything?
Well, at first, I was concerned that the robots would replace the humans, but when they said that the humans are going to work alongside the robots, then okay, fair enough. But still, I will argue that even if there's AI or automated entities working in a workplace, there should be a percentage that is to be capped, that no more than a certain percentage of weekly tasks are to be performed by AI or other automated entities.
Yeah, I will say like you should still keep your eyes peeled when it comes to working along robots, because they could turn on you at any given point. So yeah, it's like you should definitely still watch out for the robots. You shouldn't trust anything that's not human. Imagine if people said that's racist towards robots,
We
but
haven't got to that part in history yet.
we haven't.
No, we haven't reached a moment in our lives where you could be discriminatory to robots or any non-organized entities, well, that's what you call it.
I I'll, I'll be a little disappointed if we get to that point, but yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, but hey, they may not do much now, but eventually, in a couple of decades, we'll
Yeah,
get there. But for now, enjoy at least what we have.
yeah. So I I couldn't make fun of my phone because it's discriminatory towards it.
Yes. Oh, that would be so. I I'm speechless on that one.
Yeah, no, I'd be speechless too. I couldn't make fun of my own phone, but hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Less farmland is going for organic crops as costs and other issues take root.
What are the costs and other issues?
America's certified organic farmland declined nearly 11% between 2019 and 2021 amid growing challenges for farmers nationwide. Farmers attribute the decline to costly certification, stricter work and inspection demands, and a high-profile 2018 fraud case that damaged trust in the label. Many sustainable farmers avoid formal organic certification due to its rigid rules, the, the need to forego efficient technology, and rising input costs during a difficult farming era. John Bolton of Bolton Farms calls organic certification economically beneficial despite reservations. while others, like Jeremy Brown, reject USDA organic certification to maintain affordability and address climate impacts. Without updating organic standards to increase flexibility and strengthen climate efforts, experts warn the organic market risks collapse despite some consumers' continued demand.
Very, very interesting. Well, first off, I'm gonna say I hope most the majority of farmers can get into a better situation. That's what I hope because farmers are definitely everything that this country needs. We don't need ultra processed foods, even though they're easier to access and get to. We don't need that because it is slowly killing us, which is the contributor to our low lifespan compared to people in the past and our forefathers and our ancestors. I'll be honest, it's killing us slowly. It pretty much is. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the food that we eat now, but we need freshly grown food. We need to start eating freshly grown food, catching fish, shrimp, well, mainly fish. Mainly fish. Yes, and we just need to start doing what we can to remain healthy and live for as long as possible. Wait, hold on. Why is Sabrina Carpenter in? Hold on. Sabrina Carpenter's dad was not a fan.
Not a fan of what?
I guess her recent performance.
She performed?
No,
Met Gala. I knew that sounded familiar.
I wouldn't be a fan of my daughter. Was she over sexualizing herself there again?
Well, I can't say she wasn't.
I can't say she wasn't.
That's all. That's all she's what he's known for these days.
I,
Like in the past, didn't think much of it, but more recently, especially during her tour, it's really giving some kind of appeal that
hold on.
shall not be spoken.
Hold on, let me send this in the chat. He says, but he's cool with this? I mean, as a father, I wouldn't be cool with my daughter doing that. I would have believed that I failed in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Just look at
Hello,
this.
Risk.
So yeah, supposedly, did you hear the fact that Kanye just released a new song?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I did.
He released a Double H song.
Released a song basically calling himself that he's a Nazi.
Yeah.
But I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to freaking make it so that word has no meaning anymore. Anybody can say it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
Definitely won't be in the thingy. I watched it. Yeah, I saw that concert. There's a concert about for the D-Day, and I said to myself, so many people in that war for goddamn no reason. For no reason. And I even said, why are you celebrating with these people? That country that they lived in no longer fucking exists. As far as we should all be concerned, they're a fucking foreign civilization. But yeah. So what else is there?
Oh. We were just talking about Sabrina Carpenter. Wait. We were talking about something else before Sabrina Carpenter. What were we talking about before?
I need to track back on that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna finish it. I'm just gonna finish this then. Yeah. I mean, if I was a father, I would not see myself as. I would consider that I failed in some way, shape, or form if my daughter was doing what Sabrina Carpenter was doing. I'm gonna be honest with you.
What was she doing?
Well,
OnlyFans?
Oh no, look in the chat.
Okay. Free Palestine? Oh, that's what she was doing. Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's no different than freaking what Miley Cyrus did back in the 2010s. So.
Yeah, that's true. But most people are desensitized by it, so
Desensitized by a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, our company signed a trade deal with America. I'm not so sure it's a good deal though, and we also signed one with India. Hey.
Good old India.
I'm not so sure it's a good deal, but yeah.
Oh, but yeah, Jame, did you trace back what we were talking about before?
Yes, so before you brought up Sabrina Carpenter, we were talking about Amazon introducing Vulcan robots that helps with efficiency in the warehouses and having humans work alongside them. And we were talking about the rise of AI and will it take out jobs? And I was like, well, if they're saying they'll allow humans,
will take out jobs.
Yeah, they will, but not just yet. It's too soon to make a fuss about it.
Yeah, that's true. It's too soon.
Well,
They won't.
AI will definitely take it. AI will definitely take out jobs in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Hollywood's pissed the people, the people in the film industry, that the film executives that much, right? That they've effectively pushed their own demise quicker. Seriously, if the unions, if SAG-AFTRA would just take a deal, shut the fuck up, get their fucking people in line, and tell them, I'm going to be brutally fucking honest with you. The industry is fucking dying. You guys will probably be out of a job in the next fucking 10 years. If we don't make a decent deal now, you're going to have nothing. So shut the fuck up, act like fucking grown-ups, take the fucking deal until you don't have to take the fucking deal, and let's fucking just make as much money out of this as we can before we all have to fuck off and find a new career.
Not even the tariffs are going to save them.
Tariffs are not going to save them. Like, quite honestly, they think,
Yeah.
the tariff the industry on the film industry. How's that going to save them? Trump's not going to care about saving Hollywood.
A little bit, but not so much.
You'd probably rather have it in Texas or Florida. Heck, I'm pretty sure he'd like to fucking move parts of it to Alabama or, quite honestly, Tennessee, quite simply just to gain more votes for the Republicans.
They're better off taking the film industry to Manchester.
All of it.
Because that's where most of UK media is produced, so may as well just take it there.
Pretty much
Not
it's
all
film.
of it, but they'll take a decent part of it. The days of literally filming all in Hollywood are over. It will all be global. It'll be global. You'll have places in Dubai. You'll have people. They'll be filming in Dubai if it's a desert movie. You'll have filming in freaking Qatar. You'll have filming in Kuwait. You'll probably have filming in Qatar. You'll have filming in London. You'll have filming in Scotland. You'll have filming in Wales. You might not have Wales, but you have Scotland and you'll have London.
Maybe South America in the mix.
You'll have Ireland for certain things as well.
Yeah.
You'll probably have France for certain things as well. You'll have Rome for certain things as well. And you'll probably have big stuff in South America as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, speaking of which, yo, Riz, did you like that song from Kanye? By the way,
I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was interesting. I like the fact that he's literally pushed the word. He's now allowing us to. He's effectively trying to destigmatize the word Nazi, which is, in my view, a good thing because, quite honestly, literally, I think it's just a word. And it's like the same. It's the same word saying the end. It's the same with the N word. We need to destigmatize words like this. We need to stop prattling around fricking certain words. We need to literally be allowed to say things. It's like freedom of speech. It's like criticizing everybody. I think we need to be less pansies. We need to just become more desensitized, less desensitized to things.
oh yeah. Speaking of which, I think Twitter was in an uproar too because this one Caucasian woman said the N word to like a guy who's her child's tag or something. That's what I heard.
Like, if you're actually being racist about it, but I think we need to stigmatize stuff like that. It literally just be normal. It's just an ordinary. It's just a word. Like, it has no power around it. Same with like we need to. But it'll take, like you said, guys. It'll take a while because let's be real here. It'll take a while because until the boomers pass away, we're never gonna. And I think it'll be a couple of years before we can objectively look at World War II and realize maybe we did some things wrong. Maybe we were the bad guys. Maybe, quite honestly, we didn't need to fight that war against Germany. And maybe, quite honestly, we should have just been neutral. But then people will say, well, we can't think of it like that. But you've also got to look at the fact we sacrificed half of Europe to communism. And they only got their freedom because of Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev. If it wasn't for those two, Poland would still be part of the USSR. Ukraine would still be part of the USSR. And and effectively Hungary would still be part of the USSR. They would still be vassal territories of Russia, which is the sad part. So part of Europe would still be held hostage. But yeah. So what else is there?
Let's see.
Did you hear about the theme park in Dubai? Disney theme
I
park.
haven't.
Yeah, Disney's built. There's this Merrill Group is basically building a Disney theme park, and Disney basically building a new theme park in basically in Yas, the Yas Island, next to probably near the Formula One track or just down the road from the Formula One track in Dubai. Basically, Disney's not paying for it, of course, because they don't have the money, they're broke. But it's basically this company's funding it, basically like Tokyo. They're paying Disney royalties. So Pakistan and India,
Well, it comes down to one part of the country that both countries say that they belong to them, and it's the region of Kashmir.
It's not just Pakistan and China. It's not just Pakistan and India. China thinks they've got a fucking historic claim there as well.
No, China needs to stay out of it. They have no relevance to it whatsoever.
Did you see the new map of what China wants, lands that they want to claim? They want to claim part of fucking Japan, part of Russia, part of Vietnam, and part of fucking Thailand, and parts of India.
Well, how can China claim those lands if they don't have Chinese people living in those lands?
I feel like
They're claiming a historic link to the freaking Chinese, until the freaking Han Dynasty or some bullshit like
I
that.
feel like they somehow managed to get tight. I don't know. I feel like they could somehow manage to get that.
How do you think the UK still has the Falkland Islands despite the Argentinian government saying that island belongs to us?
They don't have a fucking claim. Let's be real here. They don't have a freaking claim.
Risk.
We
That's the
had the
point I'm
Falklands
making.
before they were even a fucking nation.
That's the point I'm making. If you have people from your country on that land already, you can say we have people on that land. It is ours.
They're already.
There's
Did you
no
hear about
arguing
the fact
about
that
it.
China's basically colonizing Bhutan? Part of their land is being ethnically colonized by China,
At this point, what isn't being
and nobody's
colonized?
fucking calling them out on it. Like, my guy, you're ethnically colonizing your neighbor.
Oh my
They
goodness.
can't even get ethnic support. The people of freaking, what was it like? I think it was Bhutan. They can't even get freaking help from the UN. They're just
Oh my
being
god,
freaking ignored.
this is so stupid.
Yeah.
It's funny, but stupid.
Alberta, 51st state.
Well, it's almost getting there.
It's getting there.
Almost, yes.
BC, British Columbia's got 25% people that want to leave the separatist movement. And Saskatchewan's getting up there as well.
Yeah, I think Saskatchewan is the next most likely to
Bhutan
wanting to join.
British Columbia will probably leave as well, because I think they're sick and tired of Ottawa, Ontario. Not all of it. I think the rural parts of British Columbia, I think the city parts will probably be annexed by another country. What happens if Saskatchewan and thingy leave? Alberta
and Saskatchewan, if they join the United States has an opportunity to drill a lot of the oil which is in Alberta, and as for Saskatchewan, well, they just got tons of land to work with.
Let's
But
not
the oil
forget,
is
let's
the
not forget
oil that
Saskatchewan is still developing.
it is,
So
yes.
potential to build it into an industrial heartland.
It's Alberta that the most important is most likely wanting to get because there's tons of oil that's yet to be touched.
They also want the Arctic round near the Arctic territory. They'd also probably, if we're being honest, so is the UK trying to build more closer ties with the US?
Yes.
Are we going into a fucking thing? Are we going into a new paradigm where basically we're trying to build by civilization building, where effectively all the England Anglosphere is going to become one or be very linked?
Plans like that are underway.
Where we've got China, we've got countries like China, what are effectively, or basically they've got their own little community. India, Sino-Russian alliance. Do you think we'll ever see Brazil be bigger than it is now?
No.
Do you think Paraguay and Uruguay would ever join Brazil?
No. Most likely Uruguay won't want to join Brazil because the reason why Uruguay became independent, it used to be part of Brazil.
Why did it become independent?
You know, that's a good question. I've seen in history books that what is currently present-day Uruguay, it used to be part of Brazil, but people in that part of the Brazilian Empire, they wanted to secede from what would have been today's Brazil, because most of the people living that part of those land areas, they were predominantly Spanish speakers. So that's mostly likely why that's the case for that independence for Uruguay.
But wasn't Brazil mostly like freaking Portuguese?
Yes, Brazil was a Portuguese colony.
So what happens for Europe? Does Europe just become one big country, or do we get splits between Europe, where literally certain parts of Europe becomes a European country, and the rest and the other stuff becomes the Interium?
I think it's likely there's going to be a multi-tier system for the European Union. So there's going to be a chance where the current EU members will have more stronger ties, will other countries that aren't even in continental Europe, they get to be part of what is known as the European community. That's about it. There's going to be a multi-tier system, some sort.
Basically, everybody becomes vassal states of the Europe without the big guys.
Yes,
Yeah, I have
most
no
countries will
interest.
become vassal states.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, there's a lot of people in Britain that still want us to do that. They want us to rejoin the EU. My view, I'd rather join fucking America. I'd rather eat glass and join America than join the EU. There's also idiots in Scotland that would rather want to leave the Union. The only way I'd consider leaving the UK as a part of Scotland is that they were to give America 51st state status. And as far as I'm concerned, the SNP despise Trump and America as much as frickin' Starmer. And his laughable pal of loons. How long do you think we have Starmer in for?
You're not going to like this risk.
Do you think he gets ousted?
There are going to be attempts of ousting him.
But they're going to fail.
Yes.
Why?
Well, one thing for sure. In the last general election, Labour didn't just get a majority. They have a majority so big, they can get rid of 20 or 30 MPs and still have a majority in Parliament. So, and the thing is, knowing how much support, no matter how much support that people have for reform right now, that Labour are still in government, and knowing those instances, Labour do not want to call another election until it has been more
I'm
than
not
5 years
saying
since the
they call
previous.
another election. I'm saying, do they just fucking have this guy replaced and put in someone else and then call an election a couple of years later? The line wouldn't surprise me. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do the same bullshit they've done a lot with the Tories, where you have fucking Theresa May. She says she hasn't got the fucking knickers for it. Then they fucking throw in fucking David Cameron. No, then they throw in Boris Johnson. Then he gets fucking ousted, and then they fucking put in Trust. And then she gets ousted in a week because she was actually probably pro-worker. And then they put in that frickin' slimy Indian.
And then the general election happened, and now here we are today.
What do you think the fucking odds are that fucking Indian cunt gets into Scottish Parliament in this next election? No, that Pakistani cunt gets into the next election in the UK. I mean the Scottish Prime Minister, the Scottish Labour candidate, the Scottish Labour leader.
Not very likely, because...
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Labour in Scotland.
I do not want that Muslim in that fucking parliament, in that fucking as my PM.
That isn't probably going to happen.
I had one of them with like freaking what's his name, Hamza Yusuf. Hamza useless. I don't want him as my PM, First Minister. Quite honestly, I think if we all got the vote, I'd just get rid of the freaking. We can't afford it. Yeah, they want independence. Yet we've got a 20 billion black hole. Yet they have no idea of how we're going to fucking get out of that. 20 billion in shortfall in funding. Do you think Scotland will ever get independence?
Not for a very long time.
Why would we want independence? Why would we not just become a big nation?
Well, even if there are people wanting an independent Scotland,
they haven't got the balls, we haven't got the energy, and we'd be no better than the fucking Balkans.
But even if Scotland does become independent, there are a majority that do want to join the EU as an independent Scotland.
Fuck
would you want that?
I would rather fucking.
That's the thing.
Glass.
That's the thing. Either Scotland stay part of the UK, or Scotland becomes independent with the likelihood that they can become an independent member of the EU.
I do not want to join the EU. If you can give me independence and give me the right to fucking join America as a state, I'd take it. But we're not getting. In fact, I would actually have all the UK join America as a state because I think, frankly, it's our best option. Did you hear the clip about saying I talked to the owners of Canada, and they said that Canada's not for sale?
Oh yeah, that clip.
Yes, that clip. I talked to the owners of Canada, and they said it's not for sale. So who is he referring to? Is he referring to the Crown Corporation, the King, or is he referring to a certain amount of elites that actually own Canada?
It's anyone's guess.
I don't know who owns Canada, but I have my suspicions, I know. He also mentioned Buckingham Palace before this. As you know, there are some things that are not for sale. Like Buckingham Palace that you visited. Is that a hint to the King?
That's most likely.
Well, why would you drop that in before that?
Just want to give people heads up before actually going ahead with it. Because
So who?
if he
So I
doesn't
think.
tell people sooner, then you'll be at fault for not warning people sooner about what is yet to come.
So you're telling me that Canada becomes a 51st state?
Oh no, that's not likely to happen.
Why wouldn't it happen?
Well, the thing is,
Well,
the reason why Trump even suggested that Canada becomes the 51st state is to ignite a protest within Alberta for them to join the United States so the US can go into Alberta and get the oil because there's tons of oil there.
the reason why he wanted to do that is because, quite honestly, he keeps on saying there's a beautiful artificially drawn line there, and it'd be great if we could get rid of that line. Next, he'll be saying that maybe we should make Britain the 51st state soon. He'll be saying, you can only fucking hope. Do you think the UK will ever join America at some point?
At some point, but not
In my lifetime?
maybe not. It's debatable. Not for many decades.
So we've just got to sit back and watch our country be ethically colonised by fucking third worlders like Rome.
Yes.
Like the Roman Empire.
Witness whatever tragedies is yet to come.
So is there any way of stopping what's to come? Or am I just got to sit back and watch my country be ethically colonised by a bunch of third world savages? But
Well,
we'd love to rape my wife and children.
well, you can move out of the UK to some country with tax haven status.
If you can afford it, vast majority can't afford it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So what's the answer? Where should we vote? Should we vote Reform? Should we literally vote Conservative? Should we just vote the status quo? Should we keep Labour in?
Well, the last time people voted tactically, we got the result that we got. If people want to change in the UK, they need to vote for who they believe is going to make a change. Even if we just...
So not voting tactically is not helping us.
Yeah, we can't vote tactically. Because
Yeah.
look what that got us. And now, Labour can sack as many of their MPs as they can and still have majority.
The funny thing, right? This new deal with India. He's going to be able to flood this country with illegals, right? With legalized workers, right? And we can't do anything about it, and they're going to vote for him in the next election, which will keep him in power. That's the truth. He'll flood those people. Even when at 2019, 28 election, 29 election, is he still going to win? I'm taking that not silence as yes. Okay.
Oh, I was going to say, is there anything else in the news?
How Ali France overcame tragedy to claim place in Parliament.
Early France.
Yes, Labour candidate Ali France won the 2025 federal election seat of Dixon in Queensland, unseating opposition leader Peter Dutton. France challenged Dutton multiple times, gradually reducing his margin before finally winning in the marginal electorate he held for 24 years. France overcame personal tragedy, including losing her leg in a 2011 accident and a son and an ex-husband to cancer, which inspired her political advocacy for disabilities. In his concession remarks, Peter Dutton expressed to Ali that her late son Henry would feel immense pride in her achievements that evening, underscoring her strength and the support she has from the community.
The thing is, though, will that person there actually put the fucking Britless people first? So that's the question. Or should just all demons? I am also going to say this. I don't think any party that works with unions can be for the working people anymore. So I'm presuming that Starmer still keeps power after this election.
It's likely that there may be a change in power at the next election.
Will it be Reform or will it be someone else?
I'm not saying it's going to be Reform, but I'm saying it's not Labour.
Is this what you've been told? Or just what your assumptions?
Mostly assumptions, but part of me thinks that is how the story is going to be told in the next few years.
Do you think Trump ever gets knighted as a holy king by the new pope?
Maybe, just not when he's alive.
So he's not going to get knighted as a kid. So he's not Napoleon Bonaparte.
Not now.
Imagine if that would be. Imagine the fucking anger and loathing of these fucking psycho leftists. You fucking evil person! You made him a freaking king!
They lose it.
Fucking lose it. It'd be fucking epic. Imagine if he became a holy king of the fucking Catholic faith.
What happened?
I'm saying, what if and the new pope is American, right? I'm saying, what the fuck would it be? How fucking hilarious would it be if Trump gets knighted by the fucking pope, like fucking Napoleon and Charlemagne?
I think there were some
They
people.
basically made a holy king.
I think there were some people who want the Pope to be black.
It'll happen with time. Force it.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church is heavily like more naturalized, so I wouldn't worry about it. You better not to rush these things. It'll happen. Trust me.
Yeah,
And there's been black popes before.
that's true. That is true.
Tons
Actually,
of them from tons of them from the old Roman Empire. Vatican, the Vatican. So what's the power structure with the Vatican, the City of London and Washington DC?
So the Vatican is like governs the spirituality of the world. Washington D.C., well, it's the administration of the United States, where half of the most valuable companies are, and as for the City of London, it's where the money comes from, at least hypothetical money.
I thought the Vatican was the kingdom, the city of religion, the city of money, and the city of war.
Well, yes, but it has to mainly be one that it mainly resonates.
Yes. Is there a fourth city?
Not that we know of.
So what's so important about Geneva, about Switzerland?
Well, Switzerland, for many, many centuries, was deemed to be a country of neutrality. It's a place where, so Switzerland is a country where both the most sinister of the globalists and yet people that stand for the people can be in one place and just do whatever they want
Switzerland's the
without.
city of globalism.
Well, I'm not saying it's a place of globalism, but it's a place where the good and the bad collide with one another and just go with the flow. Not saying I would agree with it, but that's just how it is.
I definitely say Geneva is the capital of freaking globalism because, well, Zurich, Switzerland, because Zurich is quite the capital of the West. So how many countries are there really in the world?
In what way? Military power?
Real countries, and not fake vassals.
None of the vassals. Okay. Let me just think about it. Okay, UK, United States, China,
Russia.
and maybe Brazil.
So you're not saying France?
Well, is France a country or just another vassal state?
A vassal. Britain only gave France it because it didn't want to be the power holder of it. It would have been Brazil, probably would have been the bigger one. Britain represents Europe. Russia represents basically all its massive territory and parts of the Eastern Steppe. And China represents all the fricking. Notice another thing that's interesting about it. Africa is not mentioned in this at all because none of those countries in Africa are actual real countries, are they?
No, they're not. They're not.
They're not.
They're not the countries that we know.
Africa's not got. Half of all the land is owned by fricking private individuals. They might have local autonomy, there might be local governments that are fricking controlled by these rich men and women, but they're vassals. Should we be concerned with all the African vassal states uniting as one? Is the UK becoming weaker or stronger?
Weaker.
After the World War II, was there a fight to decide the biggest country in the world?
Not publicly.
But in secret there was.
In secret there was, but they try to play it off as an act of diplomacy. Like, we're trying to resolve whatever crap was going on, even though it was mostly our fault. And we try, quote, try, set things right.
Britain effectively lost its influence and effectively became a vassal territory of America. After the fall of the USSR, after World War II, Russia was the bigger one out, had more power over China. It was basically the junior. After the fall of the USSR, Russia became the junior of China. And basically, it was left with only America and China as the real countries with power. Britain lost its power and influence. Russia lost its power and influence. And America and China are effectively the only two countries left. Whoever freaking go after this battle, whoever wins will basically have the influence of the world and be a de facto superpower because once China's defeated, America will be the only power left, real country left. How consolidated was the world before World War II, World War One?
I think times were just simpler.
Didn't almost all the world were owned by like 4 countries?
Well, before World War One, many of the royal families, like the royal heads of states before World War One, they were practically related to each other, as if, like, I'm talking cousin to cousin related. How World War One started is because there was a feud amongst those cousins that were royal families of those particular heads of states during World War One.
Which after World War One, it basically led to the common denominator, the people that was in power after it. The current monarchs were stayed. Britain. So what monarchies kept power after World War One? We know Britain became one.
Yes,
Austria lost their monarchy, didn't they?
they did, yes.
Germany lost theirs. Italy,
Maybe.
Spain, I think, lost theirs as well.
No, I think Spain still has that royal family.
They lost it for a while because remember they had Franco as their leader. Their leader, it's kind of like a Hitler.
Ah, yeah. And then they brought back the royal family afterwards.
They got I think a Spanish prince who was in exile. Did Spain have much colonies after World War One or before World War One?
I think I know Spain had a massive empire in Latin America.
But they lost that a long time ago. That was in 1800.
Yeah,
I think they still had the Canary Islands.
yeah,
Netherlands, the Dutch still had an empire. They lost quite a decent amount of territory, but they still had Indonesia and certain territories in Asia, which they gave up.
yeah.
The French, they had certain territories as well, but they lost.
Yes, they did.
Before World War One, Germany had territories in Africa.
Yeah, and then, until they were given to Britain and one to France.
So now so basically the common denominator is after World War One was basically a war to decide who's the number one country, because as soon as literally these countries got defeated, so like Germany, vassal territory, France, vassal. As soon as you got blatantly defeated, you basically stop the chance of being. You effectively stop having the chance. You effectively stop being a real country. Did Britain lose that war in World War Two?
According to the mainstream, yes. But
Yeah.
they lost out in the end. Secretly.
Wasn't there a secret pact where basically Britain had to de-arm themselves for 100 years with the Americas just to get frickin', and they had to give them basically their gold reserves.
That's likely, actually.
They also had to frickin' become a superpower, and they also had to de-industrialize certain industries. Because why else would you explain why the hell would you give up our clothing industry? Why the hell would you give up our automotive sector?
Yeah, that's true.
Unless we're really being run by rubes. Is there anything else, or is that us?
I think that is us.
Peace.